The show starts in 10, 9, 8,
Testing 1, 2.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10.
Well, I've already done the intro 4 times, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the X Fan Show. I am one of your hosts, Dirty. My partner in crime is not with me today, but we have a special guest on today's show. As you see, the title, Vegas Moving? Maybe? I don't know. You know, I like to use the capital, the exclamation points, but we have in one of our very own from the X Fan Legion, Jersey the King from the Fang.
What is going on? What happened, Dirty?
My God, you gotta love it. There you are. How are you, brother?
What is going on, bro? I'm doing pretty good.
Can you
today,
hear me?
Man. Yes, I can.
There you go. Are you doing good? Why don't I see you? Oh, because I have it in a single layout like an idiot.
For the most part, I'm actually doing pretty good, but all this chirping about Vegas and what's going on with the Vipers and what may happen, what may not happen, it's getting to me, man. It's getting to me.
Is it now, Jersey? I mean, we've seen on Facebook, and that's why this is kind of an emergency show. We've seen it on Facebook. It's all over Facebook, everything like that, about everything. But I do know that you said that you had reached out, and I said, hey, I'm going to do an emergency show. You said, hey, I've been dealing with some of my connections with the league, and you said you have some information about this whole situation.
Yes, and from the grind that I've been on trying to, get some legitimate sources and connections within the league, within the team as well, I've finally made some headway. And according to sources, now I want to make sure we all know that nothing's set in stone. There is no, this is what's going to happen. There's no guarantee on anything or anything to that nature as of right now. But per my sources and per other sources around the league, basically what's going on is Vegas simply needs to find a better venue for all involved. Okay. It's just that Cashman wasn't for us as when it comes to the brand standards. This according to our sources, Cashman just wasn't up to brand standards. And now Vegas is exploring other options and all options possible. Not going to go on the air and be a nuisance and sit here and say that we know for sure what's going on. But as I said, the rumors are simple. Vegas is looking for a new home. Now, The old place just wasn't very good. You know, we had to move and we're exploring all options. So it is official that Vegas is moving from Cashman Field. Now, as far as going to Nashville or San Diego or Arizona or any other expansion explored city, that's not anything set in stone as of right now. But no longer playing at Cashman looks like that's going to be, coming to fruition and be true. It looks like Vegas is going to have to find a new home and no longer be able to play at Cashman Field. And I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
Now Jersey, I was at Cashman Field. Okay. And I actually enjoyed it. I thought I had a great time at Cashman Field. Now, I get why if the league is going to do this, I understand why they're going to do this. Like you said,
right.
they said that it just didn't fit their brand and all of that stuff, right? I get that. That's cool. And that's understanding. But at the same time, like Jared says right here, I'm hoping it's just a venue and not a city change. I mean, that's what's up, Queen? There's the Queen. She always pops on. You got to love the Queen. Am I right, Jersey?
Hey, Queen, how are you today? Hope you're doing well. You got to love the hyena, man. You have to.
You have to, right?
But now,
right? If you really look at this, though, I mean, Vegas, in Vegas, and we talked about this, me and Arlington have talked about this lots of times on the show. But Vegas always seemed like they were behind the ball. It seemed like they were always stuck, right? Like if you go and watch the documentaries that I would say they're really documentaries, but if you go and watch the coaches' roundtables and stuff like that, you never saw Rod Woodson on them. So the real question, was Rod Woodson ever really bought into the XFL? That's the real question you have to ask for you. And could Rod Woodson have been the problem of why we had all the problems we did at Cashman Field? I'm not blaming Rod Woodson. I'm just saying, if you're the coach of the team, it all trickles down. You know what I'm saying?
And I am passing some of the blame towards Rod Woodson.
Okay.
You're a Hall of Fame NFL player. You're getting a head coaching job for the first time that you don't even deserve. You're getting that job because of your name. You're getting that job because of who you are. You're not getting that job because of your experience. You're getting that job because the Tampa Bay Vipers didn't work out. Now the team gets moved to Vegas. What better way to introduce a Vegas football team again in the XFL without the spectacle, without the show, without, hey, we got Rod Woodson as a head coach. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And with Rod Woodson not buying into the XFL as we've all been talking about for the past few months and the entire season, let's keep it on 100. Him not buying into the team, him not buying into the league, and showing it every single week on and off the field, not being a part of the Player 54s, you know what I mean? The showcase or the documentary or whatever you want to call it, not being a part of the roundtables, just not being fully into it and really bought in, like Hines Ward, for instance, another NFL Hall of Famer, Terrell Buckley, these former players who are turned coaches now who have actually bought into the league, who love their job. So yeah, I do pass a little of the blame towards Rod Woodson because he could have really helped bring the attendance when it came to fans showing up to the game. He could have really held some nice events, meet and greets and things of that nature within the city of Las Vegas at any type of venue, and people would have showed up. You're Rod Woodson. You know what I mean? The Raiders have moved to Las Vegas. You're a former Raider. It's football. You know what I mean? So the fan base would have been there, and I feel Rod Woodson just alone could have done a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, like Jerry, right here, and this is the big thing. Jared said that Jerry Garnello wanted the Las Vegas team. He should have analyzed the Vegas venues around the Strip. Not many to choose from by the Las Vegas Strip, and that's true. But again, we do know that like I said, we do know that there was a lot of stuff going on in Vegas. We knew that the mayor of Vegas, the lady mayor in Vegas, had her hand into it, and all of that. Jersey, go back to that first comment See, like right here. So the Sock'em Dim says, Haley, the Seattle Sea Dragons social media manager, said in the Discord app that it is most likely won't be California. Okay, but Jersey, go back into the first part of your thing that you read from your source where it said, we're exploring all options.
Yeah, the thing is, Vegas, from what we're hearing, Vegas isn't trying to make a complete city move. They're trying to avoid that if possible, from what I'm getting from this. That's what they mean by they're exploring all options. Possibly having to move out of the state and out of the city of Las Vegas as a franchise could be, possible. It could be an option if all else fails. And that's one thing I do have to give the league credit for. They are at least exploring other options within the city of Las Vegas, or from what I'm getting, surrounding areas. So we may be looking at the Vegas Vipers just playing at a new venue next season, not actually moving and being a new expansion team next season. So again, we're exploring all options as the main focal point of what you guys got to pay attention to. They're exploring the options that are available to the league and to this franchise as a whole.
Right, yeah. See, and this was the biggest thing right here, like Mike said, and it was right. Mike said when they went to the Battlehawks game there, almost everyone we talked to at the casinos and the breweries had no idea who the Vipers were. And it was, and it had a lot to do. And again, we're not going to bash on the marketing of the 2023 season. We all know that it wasn't the best, right? But now, See, now Brian says right here, like, okay, here, I'll go this. Jared says, I like the backyard football, so Cashman is cool with me if I ever win. And it was. I had a great time. Now, Brian right here is saying there is no options in Vegas. I was in Vegas. I do know, Jersey, correct me if I'm wrong, I do know just right down the street, which it's maybe, a 10-minute, not even a 5-minute drive outside of Vegas, is Anderson, Nevada.
Yes.
Am I right?
It's
Henderson.
Yeah.
Henderson, Nevada. It's like a 5-10 minute drive.
Yep.
And
15 minutes from the
there is a field in that area where they can play.
Yes. The Dollar Loan Center Arena. The home of the Indoor Football League, Vegas Nighthawks, the Silver Knights semi-pro hockey team, and I believe there's one more franchise that shares that venue, and I believe it is give me 1 second. I'm going to find it right now because I was just looking at it.
You say the indoor soccer team or football league, right?
Football. Yes, the Vegas Nighthawks of the Indoor Football League, the Henderson Silver Knights of the American Hockey League, and the G League's Ignite from the NBA G League also plays there.
Okay.
So
now they would have to definitely take some seats out. They definitely have to bring back the those retractable bleachers that they have to expand the field.
Right.
To shorten it up and all that. And it would probably fit a normal size football field in that stadium.
Yeah. And you'll still get about a good 15 to 20,000 seats.
Right. Yeah, it is a 100-yard stadium. It is a full 100 yards. Right? It's still a full 100-yard stadium. But there might even be some other places even around that area, just not in the Henderson area. You're just saying in the general area, that's where that's the most logical thing.
Yes. Because Boulder City is about 30 minutes to maybe an hour. No one's going to want to really make that drive. I mean, it's not a crazy long drive, but I'm just saying no one's going to want to go all the way to Boulder City for a football game. But you have other places, even in Henderson, that they have options for. Now one of the places that they were looking at before the 2023 season, which was Bishop Gorman High School. And Bishop Gorman High School, one thing about Bishop Gorman High School is one of those prestigious high schools out here. There's a lot of talent that comes out of Bishop Gorman High School that gets that goes on to college and then ends up getting drafted. You know, we've had a lot of actual players come out of Bishop Gorman High School, go on to college, and get drafted into the NFL. And they're a huge school out here. That's a possibility, but it would take a lot. And the main issue is the city. Al Davis. Al Davis has his hands in a lot of the sports stuff that goes on, especially when it comes to football. If it wasn't for the city of Las Vegas, the president of UNLV, as well as the owners of Sam Boyd Stadium, Vegas would have got a chance to play at Sam Boyd again. But they made the decision that they're tearing Sam Boyd down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're tearing the stadium down. They're doing that for renovations for the homes, being able to get from one side of the city to the other where the stadium's located. There's a bunch of houses that they've built, and it's hard to get around in that area. That's the main reason why they're tearing down Sam Boyd, and Vegas didn't get that. But my thing is, if they move the United States or the United Soccer League's Las Vegas Lights team, they could renovate Cashman to where it's all the Vegas Vipers all the time. You know what I mean? That's their home field. They renovated to the point where that field is up to par to play a professional football game on. Period. Like myself and the Predator couple were talking about earlier on my show. There's an opening, and I'm sure you've seen it in Cashman. There's an opening on one of the end zones where they could make a nice Viper head design, with glowing eyes, and just something really, really dope to put in that backdrop like Raymond J. Arena has in Tampa Bay. Something to that nature to give a more fan feel for it. Support of the team. Hey, look, we're sporting the team in a way that we've even customized the field to where we have a big, huge mascot in the back of the field, or in an area of the field to where the fans can interact with it. It's seen, it's noticeable. It gives the field a better look. And on top of that, they can just do renovations, and there's enough space to spread out and put more seats in there. You know what I mean? So it's just a lack of not wanting to put the money into the renovations, and the fact that the United Soccer League's Las Vegas Lights team owner actually owns Cashman Field now, so it makes it even harder.
Right, yeah. And what people are forgetting, I mean, listen, we get that. No, Sam Boyd is being torn down.
Yes.
Is the reason? No, Sam Boyd only had a no clause compete. That was done by the Raiders. The Raiders made it to where, and we had talked about this before, and this was with the mayor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because they were already looking at going to Sam Boyd, and then when they found out that they couldn't use that stadium because it hadn't been updated in years and all of that, so that's why Sam Boyd's being torn out. That's why UNLV plays in Allegiant Stadium. Now,
on top
let's really
of
think
Al
about
Davis
this, because
making a new deal with UNLV as well, allowing them to play an amount of money at Allegiant.
Right. Exactly. Now, do the Las Vegas Lights play at Cashman Field?
Yes, the Las Vegas Lights, the USL soccer team does.
Okay.
And the
But
owner
now, let's not forget,
actually owns Cashman now.
See, like
The
right
owner
here,
of the
look.
team.
So like what Mike says right here. I thought Cashman mostly needed new stands on the other sideline and a new video board at one end. Couldn't make it work if they put the money into it. And it could have. Could have. But now, think of this. They just built, now Jersey, correct me if I'm wrong, but they just built the Black Dome right there on the strip for the new Las Vegas Athletics. When they come to town.
Spear, the big ball?
Yes. The big black spear right on the middle of the strip.
No.
They could play there.
No, because the spear is like a big old stage. It's like a big old theater. It's called the Imaginarium.
Okay.
And it's like a big, huge ball, but inside There's a huge stage, there's seats, there's everything. There you wouldn't be able to fit a football field in there. It
Okay.
wouldn't be
Okay.
feasible.
Now,
Now the new
Jared says, what about
baseball field,
Resort World?
see with Resort World, it's the same thing. There's not enough space to make it a full football field. It
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't look right. Let's put it that way. It definitely would not look right for Resorts World either. It's not big enough. We need the space. The only places right now that would really be feasible that are within the Las Vegas area is the new ballpark for the Las Vegas Aviators minor league baseball team, because it's huge. It's freaking huge. Or the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. Like literally, or they'd have to find one of these high school fields that is up to date, has a nice amount of seating, and could be used during the spring when there's no school or no football going on.
All right. Well, I have a question then. I remember way back in the day, there was a WrestleMania called WrestleMania 9, if I'm not mistaken. And it was held in a very large outdoor venue in Vegas.
Yep, Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's Palace. Could they put a team? Could they put a stadium? Could they put a football field in Caesar Palace? Is it big enough for that?
If you look at how they did WrestleMania 9, if they haven't done much, I have to go back and I can even drive down there and go look myself. But if they haven't done much construction to where they've enclosed that space, yes, that would work. Because the way they did WrestleMania 9, it was wide open. You know,
exactly. It was.
It fit what, almost 80,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere close to between, we'll just say between 60 and 80,000 people. So
the Caesar Palace venue is still there. Is it? Yeah, it's still there. I was just there less than a year ago, and it's still there.
Well, what I mean is, is it still as big? Because Vegas is constantly
I get it. Is it still as big?
You know, if the space is just as big as it was back in the WrestleMania 9 days, then yes, that would be a perfect place. And on top of it, it's right on the strip. So you get tourists that'll come, you'll get the locals that'll be there, and you get more attraction to the team, especially when the game's going on, and you've got people in there making enough noise that the people outside of the game are like, hey, what's going on in there? Oh, it's the XFL Vegas Vipers football game. You know, so it's just
they did enclose it, so it is now enclosed. So I just pulled it up on the map, and I just Googled the map, right? And did the satellite view. And it is there, but now it is enclosed of where it used to be. So I mean, depending on how big it is, then yeah, you could still do it.
Yeah, you could do there. But the thing with that as well is now they're doing the construction on the strip with the whole F1, and they've got to deal with the F1 guy with the whole F1 corporation for the F1 formula racing for the next 10 years. Right now in the city of Las Vegas, they're tearing up part of the Las Vegas Strip and surrounding areas for the track, which makes no sense to me. Just saying. But
right, yeah. Now, I mean, look, if you really wanted to do it, you could do it indoors at the MGM Grand Stadium they have there.
You could do it there too.
Set up. I mean, you could do it. You could do it there. I mean, it's interesting because as I'm pulling up the map of Vegas, right? As I'm pulling it up, okay, it's interesting to see how the strip of Las Vegas actually looks, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I know that there's the big open ground by where the Tropicana is now. Or we're not by the Tropicana. What is that? Huh?
Yeah, it's by the Tropicana. Can't use that.
Right, yeah. But then if you go to the
A's.
other end of the strip, down by like the Eka or the Encore and all that, you have that big open spot right there where they have down by the Trump International Hotel. You have that big open field down there. You know, And then, like right here, like you said, you see the spear right here and all that stuff. Now, Jarrett says, I got a weird idea, the Las Vegas Speedway. Well, I mean, hell, you could put it right there in the middle of the Speedway.
You could do one even better. Where the speed, I was just gonna, Jarrett, thank you, because I was just actually gonna bring this up. Where the Speedway is located, there is enough space that they could build a stadium. They could build a small field, a reasonable size field with nice seating. Just everything they need is out there. It's space. They need space. And in that area, and this is what kind of angered me about the whole F1 thing, there's plenty of desert out there for them to build a whole F1 track and set up a whole bunch of crap for F1. You know what I mean? And they decided not to. They decided to use the middle of the damn city, which is idiotic to me.
Here's the one thing that we do know about Las Vegas. They are a crooked city when it comes to their politicians, and they don't like to lose shit, right? Now let's see, like right here, David says, I think the MLS stadiums are just the right size for XFL football. Back in 2020, I saw that the Defenders and the Audi game there. Look, I have a feeling. Now, look, it's going to suck if they move Vegas. But again, here's the question: Do you move the Vegas Vipers? Because if you move them, to me, could that show a sign of weakness?
Yes.
If you move a team.
Yes. Because why give up after just 1 year? Why give up after just 1 year? It's not like Tampa Bay. It's not like you can't actually find a decent, reasonable venue. You just got to be willing to move the team there, set up a deal to where you can play there.
Right, yeah.
Just saying.
Brian, listen, you heard what Jersey had to say from his contact. He said that, they're exploring all of their options. They're moving them out. Look. If you really wanted that team, if they wanted that team, they, like you said, Jersey, they could move to Boulder City, which is a half an hour to an hour away. Okay?
And you're still be the Vegas Vipers.
Yeah, because it's part of that. It's part of that suburb. Vegas. I was literally in Vegas last year, and like you said, there is so much construction, so much stuff that they're doing in Vegas. Again, like I said, that little spot down there by Trump International International Hotel, they had this big giant green field started being built.
Yeah.
There. So look, I don't know if they are leaving Vegas. You heard what you had to say. If they do, I think it might hurt them. But Jerry Gurnell is a guy that doesn't want to leave. Doesn't want that team to leave.
He doesn't.
That's another thing I have a feeling.
Jerry Carndale said himself, he rooted for Vegas. He really proposed the Tampa Bay Vipers to move to Vegas. He proposed the Vegas venue for the location of the Vipers team. So he's going to do what he can to make sure that we stay. And another thing is, Brian, I know you've lived here for 15 years. I've been here a little longer, but we got plenty of venues that they can go to. Most notably, the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. It's literally 20 minutes away from Cashman, 30 minutes away from Cashman, if that. Going through city traffic or however you get it there on the freeway, it's literally close enough for them to say, hey, we're still the Vegas Vipers, but we're playing in Henderson in an actual football field.
Right,
yes, it'll be an indoor dome, but so what? It's a better venue. It's built for football. Like you said, all they have to do is move those retractable stands back a little bit, open up the sidelines and open up the field so that it's a 100-foot field and go from there. But there's a few venues that they can play at out here. There's no need to give up on the team after 1 year. You know what I mean? And just say, hey, we're going to move you out of the city already. There's no need.
Now, Michael's saying, but Dollar Loan Center is an arena.
So it's big enough. It's literally big enough that you can do exactly what you said. Move those stands back, those retractable stands back, and open the field, open the inside up, because you got to imagine, we don't need it to sit 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 people. We don't need all that space for an XFL game. Hell, we punched out over 38,000 in the Battle Dome. So
Yeah.
if we can get it to where we're sitting a good 30 to 40,000 people in there, why wouldn't it work?
Well, see, now Jared's saying that their capacity for the Dollar Loan Center is only 5,500 people. Is what he says here. No, but I mean, don't forget, you have the Peter Johann Memorial soccer fields.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The Dollar Loan Center sits about 5,600 people. But where it's located, renovate it, make it bigger. But if you don't want to put in all that work, don't want to spend that money, go to some of these other places in Vegas or in the surrounding metropolitan area. Hell, Summerlin, which is now its own freaking city of a suburb of Las Vegas, they can go to Summerlin. There's space. That's the thing. There's a lot of space out here. And if they knew last year that Cashman was only going to be a 1-year deal because it wasn't set up or ready, I should say, for football, they should have been already making a deal. Well, hey, there's space over there by the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's build a stadium out there. You know what I mean? There's that big space by Trump International. Let's see about acquiring that space and putting a field there. You know what I mean? Building a nice venue. The thing that kills me the most is that, like we've talked about on several different episodes of shows, and mine and yours and other podcasts around the Legion, we've all said it. Danny Garcia and The Rock have enough money to invest more into the league, because the more you invest, the more your return on investment will be, especially if you invest the right way.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just pulling it up. Like, there's another place that's just right outside of the stadium. What was it called? Hold on. The Sheen 19 Stadium Arena.
Oh, yeah. They could
right
definitely
there.
play there. That would be perfect.
So, I mean, it seems like they have options.
And I think that's what they're exploring.
Which
Honestly,
one?
I think that, all of those. I think they're looking to see which is available, which will be open around the time the season takes place, and which will be most feasible and safe for the players to play on.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's going to be the big thing.
Because they need to have a reasonable deal. They have to have a reasonable deal for however many years they want to do the deal for. It has to be a reasonable amount of money, but they could do it. You know what I mean? They could find a venue that is feasible, safe, and right for the players and the fans, and they can keep the Vegas Vipers right here in the state of Nevada, in the suburb area of Las Vegas, even if they're not directly in Las Vegas. But there's plenty of places that they so without having to leave the state.
Well, and then you have the Marion Partridge Track Stadium that's there in town, just outside of town, about 19 miles outside of town. How deep does the XFL ownership want Las Vegas? Well, I'll put it to you like this. They have an office in the Apex Center right there in Henderson, Nevada.
Yep.
That's where that's where some of Dean Blandino's games were affiliated from, right out of the Apex Center.
Yep.
Right out of there. Viable options. I mean, Mike, there are some viable options. The question is, what are those viable options, and what do the XFL want to do with those viable options? Like JP just said, they could have renovated. They could have renovated the Cashman by now. That is true. Get Dana White to be the owner of the Vegas Vipers. I don't think we're going to see any kind of ownership for a while, people. So get over the ownership. I don't think that's going to happen. The one thing that I do like, Jersey. Go ahead.
not to cut you off. When something like that does happen, teams being owned, either I'm gonna tell you like this: either a deal is gonna be too good for ownership to pass up. We're talking, hey, we're gonna buy this team for $3, $4, $5 million, and then put a bunch more money into the team just to help the league grow. Then you'll start seeing local owners, and I think from that aspect, that's not going to be for another 5-10 years down the road, but it could happen, especially if the league is successful. But that's something we have to wait on for another good 5 to 10 years down the road, unless, like I said, somebody comes with, a huge offer and says, hey, we're going to offer you such and such amount for this team to be, owners right in this local city, representing the team and owning the team. So it's going to have to be something like that.
Right. Yeah. Now, I mean, David, I don't think you are stating the obvious. I think everybody has said that it was obvious that they shouldn't have announced Vegas without an actual good city beforehand. Yeah. I think we all can agree to that one.
Because it wasn't like 2001.
Jersey. Do what?
It wasn't like 2001. Sam Boyd. They had that feel. Okay. They could say, hey, we got the Las Vegas Outlaws coming in the XFL. Las Vegas, you got a professional football team. And that's why when the Las Vegas Outlaws played in Sam Boyd, they had a good attendance. Their turnout for attendance was very, very good because we had a professional football team in the city of Las Vegas for the first time ever.
Right. Now, what about if they go just down the road, down the strip a little bit, down to the Olympia sports complex?
Oh, yeah, they could definitely do a little bit of work in there to make that happen as well. The Olympia is actually really, really nice. It's actually really nice. It's spacious. It's actually pretty big. So just a little bit of work in there, putting the field in, making sure it's a full 100 yards. You got your sidelines, you got your end zones and everything. It could work in Olympia too. Like I said, there's a few venues out here that they could just do some renovations that are needed and make a football field, even if it's turf.
Ooh, turf out there? Wouldn't that be a little hot?
I mean, yeah. But
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be a little hot?
You don't want the same debacle as Cashman with the fake grass that's barely being able to stay down, so.
That's true. That's true. You really wouldn't, would you? All I know is this. I mean, I'm glad that there might be, that there are some options that they're exploring and that they're looking. Jared says, now it's oversaturated with the sports. Hard for a startup league. You're right. I looked at Bishop of Gordman, and I like that.
No, I have to disagree.
Which one?
Being oversaturated with sports. The city of Las Vegas has won professional sports for decades.
Right.
Not just years. We're talking decades. The city of Las Vegas have wanted professional sports teams in this city for years. Why do you think the Vegas Golden Knights get so much support? Why do you think the WNBA Las Vegas Aces get so much support, even that Michelob Ultra Arena? They get so much love and support. The Oakland Raiders moved to Las Vegas and are getting the same amount of attendance numbers as they were in Oakland, if not more, because Allegiant is beautiful. Allegiant is beautiful. They had a soccer game at Allegiant a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago that I went to, and just being able to go inside of Allegiant and see what it's all about, man, it's a beautiful place. People just like going there, and now you have all these different sports teams. You got to imagine WNBA Las Vegas Aces keep winning championships.
What's up, champ? Yep.
Golden Knights keep winning championships. The Raiders get on a different track and start winning championships or get to the Super Bowl, and then you bring in the NBA team that's going to be coming to Las Vegas soon, and they come in and start winning championships. If this city becomes a sports championship city, we're going to take all teams we can, and we're going to root for them. Trust and believe that. If Las Vegas can take over sports, you don't think we will? You don't think we'd want to?
Right, yeah. See, look right here what Sock Dem says. What Sockdem says right here. Let's be real though. They are getting a ton of teams right now with 2/3 of the population of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep.
Because it's cheap to fly to Vegas. It's cheap to fly to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
really
it
is.
is. Jared, we understand that Oakland would be an interesting option. No, because that's why teams are all leaving out of Oakland. You got the baseball coming. I mean, look. Should they have done this a little differently before they announced the Vegas team and had a deal in place with Vegas? Sure, but let's not forget, they're still having problems in Houston with TDCU. They're still having problems with Houston. There's no guarantee that Houston is going to play in that stadium. I mean, from what I've heard, it's more than likely going to be in Rice Stadium. That the Houston Roughnecks will be playing in Rice Stadium next year.
And they have to get that
that's
deal
not
done.
In the city. Huh?
I said they have to get that deal done first before they can announce it.
Oh, yeah. See, I mean, look, David says, what about San Francisco? Look, here's the thing. And I'd said it way back long ago, back in May, right after the championship. Me and Arlington did the show. We talked about it. And I said, guys, what happens? Let's just say they do move the Vegas Vipers, but they move them to Seattle, call them the Seattle Vipers, and then move the Dragons to a Snapdragon Stadium. I mean, that's still very possible. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but, you want to go down rabbit holes, we could go down those kind of rabbit holes. I mean, if you go and look, you could see everything that's around there. Here's what we do know. We do know that the mayor of Vegas fought we talked about it on the show, and we drew all the parallels. We do know that the mayor that was of Vegas, she fought for them not to play in Bishop Gordman, but to play in Cashman Field, because she was wanting them to use that to help renovate Cashman Field.
Mm-hmm.
She fought for them to go into Cashman Field. Okay, so we do know that.
It wasn't a bad idea at first, because, like you said, you bring them into Cashman, they can put money into renovations. Takes less money out of the city's pocket to renovate it. So I get it.
Right. Yes, I do. I do realize that California labor laws do pose some problems, and that is a reason why they are still in their hub cities, because of that right there. Because if you go into other cities, their labor laws have some problems. So that's why that's why they have the hub city model. Now, I mean, look, it's going to be interesting. Jersey, I do like what your context said, that there's still some options. They're exploring their options. Doesn't mean they're completely moving out of the city of Vegas or moving out of Nevada.
Right.
So right now we just have to stay positive. But now, Jersey, I want to go on to something else. Because, what more can we really say other than that's what we know, right?
Right.
Yeah. See, David, in 2021, you said you went to the Rice the Mega Bowl in Rice Stadium, the Spring League. Yeah. I have a feeling that's where Houston's going. That's what my sources have told me, is that Houston is going to, will more than likely play in Rice Stadium. Now, I don't know. I can't say it's 100%, but the way it's looking, that's where it's going to be. Now, Jersey, let's look at this. We talked about it on the show the other day. Me and Arlington did, about all the players that made it to the NFL, or just the NFL. How many players can Spring League survive, and all of that stuff, right?
Yes.
Let's look at it this way. Okay. Now I want to pose you this question, because Arlington sent me the question. One player made one XFL player made an NFL roster. That was the punter for DC, made the Green Bay Packers team, right?
Wheelan.
So that means Wheelan, right. We had 66 players signed. I think it was 17 players signed to practice squads. Okay? Do you consider that a success for the XFL?
For the XFL, yes and no.
Okay, so let's look at it. So we had 8 teams, right? What was it? 53 players?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, so that's 424 players. Only one made an NFL roster?
And it was a
One.
punter.
A punter. A punter.
Can I
So
be honest
explain.
with
You
you?
say yes and no. You say yes and no. Explain why you say yes and no.
I say yes because it shows that there is talent in these spring leagues. You know,
Uh-huh.
if we want to be real, between the two spring leagues combined, we've had over 100 people or over 100 players signed to NFL rosters during camp. The
Mhm.
reason why I say it's a bad thing for the XFL and even the USFL is because it's like the NFL just used these guys for the preseason and then got rid of majority of them. The only reason why Green Bay signed Whelan is because they need a punter.
That's true.
Like,
That's it.
you know what I mean? So it's like I give all the coaches credit who spoke up on, you know, the leagues and the players coming out of the leagues. But like, let's just take John Trey Kirkland, for example. In
Uh-huh.
every single Saints preseason game, you heard that man's name multiple times. Multiple times. And you're meaning to tell me he was only good enough to make your practice squad?
Right, yeah. Like here, like right here. Oh, the CFL just signed Chad Kelly to a 3-year deal for $1.85. The XFL needs to up their salaries. The XFL is still a startup. You're talking about a league that's been around for 108 years with the
Exactly.
CFL.
The CFL.
I mean, I know everybody talks about, everybody talks about, the CFL is going to fold. The CFL is going to fold. It's going to fold. Well, look, if you believe that, go watch the Markcast. Go watch Reed Johnson show the Markcast, and you'll see CFL ain't folding anytime soon. Those fans up there in Canada are crazy.
They're like on their 109th Grey Cup. 109th.
Right, something like that. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
More than the NFL. More than the NFL.
Exactly.
But now, so Jersey, let me pose a question. I was talking to a super fan about this, right? So I told everybody, go watch the show. The Pick is In on the Roku channel. It's about the NFL draft. It's got Jerry Jones. Very first thing Jerry Jones is saying, 75,000 players, hopeful players to be drafted by the NFL. Only 250, roughly 250 make it. Okay? They said roughly. That's not even guaranteed that they get a roster. Okay. So there's more than enough players to field a spring league.
Yep.
Okay? More than enough, right? Okay, so here, before I go on, I'll add Flame Wingman wants to know, you have to think about it though, Jersey, who was Kirkland going up against out there of the starting receivers? So who is he going against? Was he going against backups or was he going against starters?
When it came to the DBs he was playing up against, it shouldn't have mattered.
It is a good thing. Right, it shouldn't have. It is a good thing that a lot of the players, 17 of those players, got signed to practice squads because that just helps them craft their game more. I mean, there's still a chance some of those guys could make a roster due to injuries.
But will we see them next season? We can't now.
If they don't stay with the team still owns their rights. So then, yeah, we would see them.
So we wouldn't see them on any football field. And now these guys are stuck on a practice squad that doesn't even really want them there. You're just an extra body.
$18,000.
Right. But I mean, who wants to really? But I was talking to the Predator couple on my show earlier today, and we actually talked about this. One of the good things that this does for the fans of the XFL is it will encourage some of these players to not even want to make that jump to the NFL because they're going to feel like this. What is the point of me putting in all this work here in the XFL, helping my team win, doing whatever I can, being a standout player, skilled position, or whatever the case may be, and I get stuck on a practice squad and I don't see no action on an NFL field aside from what I've seen in preseason. And now I have to miss this next XFL season, and those fans who were rooting for me on the XFL team that I was playing for can't even root for me or see me play on any football team right now. I'm going to just stay here in the XFL. I'm going to be a star in the XFL.
Right, yeah. But I mean, they'll definitely have to up the salary. So here's the question I'm going to pose. Ready? So you talk about there's more than enough players to go around for spring leagues, right?
Yes.
Now let's really look at this. Disney announced a while back. We haven't talked about it on the show, but Disney announced that they are willing to sell ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's look at the top players that have went out for it. It's been Apple and Amazon have been the two big guys saying they're going to be looking to buy Apple, right? Now, if I'm the XFL, I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried because of who my partnership is with ESPN. Because what if Apple or somebody buys this and they're like, you know what? We don't really need the XFL, so we're not going to put it on the TV. Yep. Yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it that the NFL is always going to be the goal for players until the XFL matches the salaries of the NFL. We get
No, they will not.
We get it.
No, they will not, Flame. I have to disagree. No, they will not. Look at AJ McCarron. He is willing to take a huge salary cut because he loves the game of football and he wants to play in front of his kids. If he doesn't get a starting job in the NFL, he's not playing in front of his kids. He's sitting on a bench in front of his kids.
Yeah, but he's a guy who made some money though in the NFL already.
Being a backup, and he didn't enjoy it. That's why he's coming back. That's why he's coming back for a second consecutive season in the XFL, because what am I going to sit there in the NFL for and waste away my years of good football that I could be playing somewhere else? Look at it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players out here who are not going to waste their years sitting on an NFL bench or on a practice squad when they can be a star in the USFL or the XFL or any other spring league like the CFL. Come on now. It's not always about the money to some of these guys. You know who it's about the money for, because their main goal is to get to the NFL and make that salary. They want to make that money, and they'll say it out of their mouth. But then you got those guys like AJ McCarron. You got those guys like any other player that's in the XFL
Big
right
Beasley,
now.
Josh Gordon. You got Big Beasley, Josh Gordon.
Martavis Bryant. All these guys. Luis Perez.
Bryant. All right. Now, Jersey, let me get to what I was trying to say, okay? So now, again, people, this is just dirty speculation. I'm not saying I know anything 100%. This is just my speculation, playing rabbit hole chaser. That's the key word. Rabbit hole chaser. Because 9 times out of 10, when I say something crazy, it usually comes true. Now, let's just say, Jersey, now hear me out. Let's just say one of these other two, let's just say one of those two companies buy ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, you know what? We don't want to be of the partnership with the XFL. Now, mind you, remember, there were talks of a merger between the USFL and the XFL as the season ended.
Yeah.
Right? As the season ended. There were talks between the two leagues for a merger between the two leagues. Those talks went off the table, okay? But now think about this, Jersey, and hear me out. Let's say it happens. Let's say you do the draft, or you do a merger. XFL loses their ESPN deal, right? Now what do they do? What do? They have nowhere to go. So now they go to Fox and say, hey, look, we lost their deal. Let's merge these two leagues together. Let's merge these two leagues together. Okay? So now you have a 16-team league, right?
Here's the hiccup with that. Go ahead.
Hold on. What? Give me your hiccup.
8 teams have home fields. And what? We'll say 11 teams have their own home field, and the other 5 don't. Problem.
Okay. Here's okay. I agree. I hate merging the leagues, but just hear me out, because this makes sense. Okay. So you have here's why it makes sense. This is why it would make it a stronger, more viable option for players if these two leagues merge together. There's enough talent out there for it. Well, the reason why the majority of us XFL fans didn't like the USFL is because it didn't have fans in the stadium.
Yep.
That's it. It was basically the same football. The same football. You're right. USFL loves hubs. Guess who else loves hubs? The XFL. So you think about it.
Yep.
They work out a deal with the XFL and the USFL and Fox, right? XFL says, look, we have the hub headquarters already in Arlington. Bring all of your guys here. Bring all of your teams here to Arlington, into the Arlington area, okay? They're all there together now. Now you have all 16 teams. And as you've heard on Trey Watson on our show, he said that he loved the hub idea for the simple fact is that every player got this exact same training, got the exact same meals, all of that stuff. It was all an equal level playing field, okay?
Right.
Now think about it, Jersey. Here's how you could do this. Do they? Hold on now, Jared. Just listen. Hear me out. Hear me out. You have 4 teams that play in their home markets in the USFL. Birmingham, Memphis,
Michigan, Birmingham. That's it.
What did I say? Memphis?
You were right. Birmingham, Memphis, and Michigan. That's it. There's only 3.
Is that 3? Okay, that's 3. All right, you're right. So now think about it. You put all of them together, and they're all located in Arlington, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now think. Now you can actually have conferences, right? So what you do is you put Seattle, and let's just say Vegas stays where Vegas is. Have Seattle, Vegas, St. Louis, and Memphis as your West Division.
No.
Hold on. You got to remember.
No.
Well, just hear me out. Here's why you do it this way. Because the USFL has no teams west of the Mississippi.
You're right.
Everything
is
right. east of the Mississippi. Okay?
I see where you're going. Go ahead.
So you have St. Louis, Memphis, the Sea-Drag, Seattle, and Vegas as your West Division. Okay? Now, you keep your Texas Triangle Division as Dallas, Houston, or Arlington, Houston, San Antonio, and you put New Orleans in there.
Yep.
Put New Orleans with them. Now you go up the central part of the Midwest. You put Birmingham, Michigan. Who else? Birmingham, Michigan. What's the other team I'm missing? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Wait. I forgot. Houston. They have a Houston team. You have a Houston team. So you have 2 Houston teams. All right. Yeah. There you go. You take Houston out. Mike, we talked about it. They're still looking for options in Vegas. All right. So here's what it is. So that's right. You take the Houston team away. The USFL Houston team, or whichever. Take away the Houston.
You gotta move them. We'll just move them somewhere.
Move the USFL Houston team. Move them to San Diego, or Tempe.
Or back to Chicago.
So you move that. So now you have St. Louis, Seattle, San Diego / Tempe, and Vegas. That's your West.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now for your South, you have the Texas Triangle in New Orleans. Now we go up. So now you have Birmingham, Memphis, Michigan, and Pittsburgh as your Central Division. And then on your East Division, you have Philadelphia. You have New Jersey, because now it puts you back in the New York area. So you have New Jersey, then you have D.C., and you have Orlando. There's your division. You have a 16-team league in all 4 time zones.
Yeah.
In all 4 regions of the state. Now,
especially taking that Houston team out of the USFL completely and moving it to somewhere like San Diego.
Tempe / San Diego. Now that's if Vegas doesn't move. If Vegas still has their options of what they're looking for, right?
Exactly.
But now, you tell me that wouldn't work, because now technically you have 16 teams, so now you add 4 more games per team.
Yep. You can even
Now,
actually add. You can even actually add 4 to 6
extra
because
games.
you're gonna want each team to play within their division. You know, at least play with their
Twice.
division rivals twice,
Mhm.
and to play at least one team, or at least play every other team at least once.
Right. Now, hold on. You ready? I'm going to even make it even wilder and throw something in there. There is the remarks of all XFL teams have 6 home games instead of 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So you added it. Now, I'm not saying it's true, but try to tell me how it would work.
No, you're absolutely right. That would be feasible for both leagues. That would be feasible for just spring league football in general. That would grow the league just like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would grow the league tremendously just like that. And on top of
now
that,
you got the
USFL
XFL that's on a
fans,
major network
you
with
got
Fox and NBC.
Exactly. Hold on. Why isn't CBS being spoken to? This is one thing that killed me about the XFL. Now, you knew the NBC was going to be a little shaky. It was going to be like, Vince tried it, screwed it up. You know what I mean? He screwed it up for you guys. But we see where you're going now.
No, David, the Roughneck and Gambler thing isn't. You move that team to San Diego / Tempe.
Yeah, the Houston Gamblers would not be an issue at all. They would be gone out of there.
Yeah, you move them. You
Because
move them to one of those 2 cities.
The Roughnecks have a more stable fan base, and on top of that, they have a better football team.
Right.
They're going to bring in more revenue. So you move that.
So you just move them to a different. You just move them to a different city.
To an area that needs
now that's if
football
Vegas isn't relocating. That would work. Now, if Vegas relocates, then you'd have to do some more finagling and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Right. You would have to do that.
But an XFL USFL merger like that, the way you're explaining it, would be very feasible. Having those 4 different
if you think about
divisions, because you can have divisions and conferences.
Yes, you could.
And then what do you?
You're right. They probably did try to talk to CBS, but knowing how The Rock has such a good relationship with Disney, it was a good idea. You're right, it was. But now that The Rock doesn't have a good relationship with Disney anymore, because he spoke out against Disney on the writer's strike and all that stuff. I mean, yes, I do know that they have the 5-year TV deal with ESPN. I get that, understand that. But TV contracts are broken all the time. Yep. TV program is canceled all the time. So it's not hard for them to cancel the contract. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
But it's a possibility.
I'm just giving my speculation.
Because it is a true possibility, though, guys. We got to look at reality.
It is a true possibility.
Because when it comes to Apple and those other corporations, they can get their hands on ESPN. Come on now. If you're not a viable sport or a viable sports league that's going to generate revenue from views, generate any type of revenue from the league itself, yeah, Apple or somebody like that would instantly want to drop the league. But speaking of The Rock's ties, The Rock's ties are more so with NBC now. If you want to really talk about a TV network, because he has his own show out on NBC and it's very successful and it's been going for a few seasons now.
Well, they just canceled The Little Rock. You talking about The Little Rock?
Oh yeah, they did. But even still, how many seasons did he go?
They're bringing back the Titan games,
which he hosted. So I mean, come on now. He still has that relationship, even though the Young Rock show isn't going to be coming back. How many seasons was it successful? You know what I mean?
4.
Come on now.
I think, right?
That's still good enough for The Rock to say, hey, look, I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I can bring you millions. just because of
Right,
who
yeah.
I am.
Right, that's what we just said. That's what we just said. Flame Wingman, that a show was canceled. All right, this was the X Fan Show, joined by the host of the Fang Gang and part of the X Fan Legion, the one, the only, sir.
Or Jersey the King.
There you go. Where can people find you?
You can find me right here at Fang Gang Nation on Twitter, the Gridiron Podcast on Twitter, or Royalty Gamers _P for Royalty Gamers and Podcasts on Twitter as well. You can follow the Gridiron Podcast Facebook channel. You can follow me on Facebook at Jersey the King. Go subscribe to the Gridiron Podcast Show as well as the Royalty Gamers and Podcasts YouTube channel and the Jersey the King podcast or Jersey the King YouTube channel. So those are all my socials. You can also check out the Gridiron TikTok. You can check out my Instagrams, all that. You can just find me everywhere. Yeah. Just type in my name, Jersey the King, right there, and you will find all of my information, or even Royalty Gamers and Podcasts, or the Gridiron, and you will find me in all my social media information.
Right, you guys know where you can find us. This was the emergency show because we were going to do a show tonight. Then that came out, and I was like, well, I got the connection in Vegas. Let me see what he knows. Thank God that he had already talked to his connection, Jersey the King. I am Dirty. I will see you guys next week. I have to go pick up my kid because I'm fat and I'm sweating my ass off in the studio.
I love you guys, man. Thank you.
All right, Jersey. See you guys. We will see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.